This movie was nowhere near as good as the first movie. Overall, it's decent, but you can't compare it to the first movie. Um, this one, instead of having Scarecrow from The Dark Knight, we have Hawkeye from, the Avengers movies. And we also have Idris, I don't think I'm saying his name right, who plays Heimdall. And a lot of other characters. He's in a lot of shit. He was also in that new Beast movie that I'm gonna watch eventually. He's a really good actor, but he doesn't do much in this role. He straight up just disappears after a while. He doesn't get killed by a zombie or anything, he just quits showing up in the movie. I mean, of course, I didn't expect them to focus on him because he was more of a side character, but it's still pretty random. He was like the boss of everybody. He was controlling the zones. Of course, the zones get overrun. We see him like 2 or 3 times, and then we never see him again after the zones are overrun. He's already out of the zones. He's controlling everything. He's the one getting all these zombies killed, so we know he's still alive. They just don't want us to see him anymore. Well, this movie follows a badass opening scene that I loved, and they redo the music from the first movie. I think it was only used once or twice in the first movie, but it is overused in this movie. It's pretty epic music, and it fits the moment when it's tension. But they use it like at least 7 times in this movie. Anytime we got a chase scene, we gotta play that epic music. Gotta get your blood pumping. It doesn't work like that, man. I don't think the directors, if I didn't look it up, if they are the same people, really understood why that music worked in the first movie. It doesn't work here because they use it too much. But yeah, it follows this dude escaping from a bunch of zombies. He abandons his wife and friends to escape the zombies. His survival instincts kicked in, which anyone that was rational and didn't want to get torn to pieces by zombies would do. And for some reason, he tries to save this dude on the boat, but not his wife. It's very weird. His wife tries to go back for the little kid because the little kid comes knocking on the door. That's the whole reason the zombies attack them. And she tries to go back to save the kid because she sees him. She sees he's not bitten, he's not infected yet, and then of course she runs into zombies. He closes the door and runs, and she's pounding on the window, screaming his name, and he just kind of looks back at her screaming and keeps running. But then when he gets on this boat, the only other survivor, because everybody else died in the house, he screams his name. I think it was Jacob. They get on the boat together. They try and ride away. Jacob gets knocked out of the boat. I don't remember how. And he tries to grab him and pull him in. He tries to help him instead of starting the boat and scramming like he did with everybody else. He actually does try to save this dude. It's different. Later we find out the wife did survive because she's immune or something, kind of like Ellie from The Last of Us. But she's still technically infected, unlike Ellie. Her saliva, her blood, it can still infect people. They did that shit in the first movie. Just people weren't immune. They're like, yeah, the saliva or blood, if it touches you, you're infected. But for this one, they're like, yo, yeah, she's immune, but she's zombie. Just she won't try and kill you. It's pretty fucking stupid, if you ask me. Of course, husband kisses her. Then zombie apocalypse starts. And he's able to kill a bunch of soldiers. That's the people we see because the civilians are in a completely different area. So we see a bunch of soldiers get killed by one zombie. It's pretty stupid. We kind of get an explanation on this and that's that they're not allowed to use live rounds unless Idris allows them to. But you would think one of them would disobey orders to literally save their life. But okay. Because obviously non-lethal rounds aren't going to do shit to a zombie. It would do something to a civilian that's getting rowdy. But a zombie? No. They're not going to care. That's why they got killed. But you'd think one of them would switch to lethal rounds to save their life. Of course, that means now a bunch of people are infected. And now we're back to the first movie. Because most of the infection was completely gone in this movie. But now we're back to infected. So these are bomb and shit. Jeremy Renner comes in, saves some kids. And their reasoning for saving these kids, which you would think you want to save them just because they're kids. Their reasoning for saving these kids is that apparently because the mom is immune, they're immune too. Because it's genetics. It's a dumb explanation. And they end up surviving. Jeremy Renner's character doesn't. He gets burnt alive trying to push a car because they're allowed to use chemicals. So later in the movie when chemicals are happening, they get in the car to close the door to cover their faces, and the car won't start. They see people come in to make sure all the zombies are dead and burn them or whatever. And Jeremy gets out of the car and pushes the car and helps it get started, and he gets burnt. He's dead. Then later the girl character that wanted to also keep them alive gets killed. I don't remember. She didn't really have much of a personality. So she gets killed. Then eventually those two make it alive to Doyle's friend, Jeremy Renner. You know, Jeremy Renner is Doyle in the movie. They make it to his friend and he decides to save them. After screaming at them, asking where Doyle is, which you'd think he would know he was dead since it's a zombie apocalypse. And then that's about it. There isn't much to this movie. There is some dumb shit like I've already stated. But overall, I do think it's a decent movie. But yeah, that's about it.